This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, friends, it's your favorite time of the week, Friday afternoon, preparing for Shabbos. And I can't help myself, but I'm always thinking about the number of psukim in Parshas Korach. You know how many psukim? There are 95 psukim. Gematria Daniel. That's right. I like that word, Daniel. There's something really nice about it, and I think about that word a lot. And one time we had a shiur on the significance of why there are 95 psukim in Korach, connected to the time of La'asad Lavai, when Hashem's name will be Yud Kei Yud Kei. I would like to share with you a new idea that I had this morning, and I think this will give us a very unusual insight into the Parsha. In the commentary of Rabbeinu Ephraim on Parshas Korach, one of the Rishonim, he writes a wondrous thing. He says on the Pasuk, Perek Tezayin, Pasuk Tezayin, Ata v'hem v'aharon. Ata v'hem v'aharon. Ata ends in a hey, v'hem ends in a mem, v'aharon ends in a nun. Soifei tevois Haman. Soifei tevois Haman. Why? Haman and Korach, they had the same dispute. Korach fought with Moshe, who is the Gold of Hadar, and Haman fought with Mordechai, the Gold of Hadar. This one died by going down, and this one died by going up. Korach died by being swallowed by the ground. Haman died by being hanged on a tree. Likewise, Megala Mukais equates the Mapala of Korach with Haman. He says Korach ben Yitzhar. Korach ben Yitzhar is Gematria Haman Rasha 665. Korach ben Yitzhar is Gematria Haman Rasha. I would add something interesting. There's a medrash that says there were a few people that started their conversation with the word af, and they had a downfall. One was the Nachash, af kiyamar alekim. One was Korach, af lo yalar azaz, and one was Haman, af lo yehevi as. So that's another way that Haman and Korach were similar. Chazal likewise in the Medrash Rabbah, Bamidbar Rabbah, Perek Chavez Oizayin, he says there were two wealthy people in the world. One was Jewish, one was Gentile. Korach mi Yisrael, Haman mi Umas Ha'olam. And they were both destroyed. Why? Because their wealth did not come from God, but they grabbed it. Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. So there's a commonality between Korach and Haman. What's interesting, Rabbi Isai, is that there's another similarity. Another similarity is that what words did Haman said? Haman said, V'chol zeh einenu shoiveh li. Haman had all the honor in the world, but he wanted more. He wanted more. He didn't like the fact that Mordechai was above him. And we find a similar type of behavior by Korach. Korach was a very powerful and prestigious person, but he wanted the top. But the words that Haman said were V'chol zeh einenu shoiveh li. Soifei tevois, hey, vav, hey, and then a yud. Yud ke vav ke backward, which we pointed out. That's the permutation of Hashem's name for the month of Tammuz, the month of Parshas Korach. So the Parsha of Korach in person is Tammuz in time. Well, Tammuz in time was the words of Haman, V'chol zeh einenu shoiveh li. But I want to share with you another commonality. And that is, even though both of these guys had a very bad downfall, but their progeny had a great tikkun. Right? Chazal tell us, B'nei banav shel Haman loimdim Torah b'vnei Brak. And we once learned, Umanu, Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas. So the descendants of Haman, they're in Koilach Chazonish. Yeah? They're learning Torah b'nei Brak. Also, the Banav Shel Korach, they did Tshuva. Right? Is that not telling? Why is it that these two people who acted with great wickedness, both of them had some kind of tikkun in the end, where Korach was tzaddik hatamar yifrach soifetevas Korach, his children did tshuva. Likewise, Haman, Mnei banav shel Haman lemdim Torah b'Bnei Brak. If you think about it, and this is what Reb Tzadok HaKohen says about Haman, but it could be applied to Korach as well. You say, why was Haman zoiche that his grandchildren were learning Torah in Bnei Brak? I mean, he tried to destroy the Jewish people. Why was he zoiche? Say, but even though he tried to destroy the Jewish people, but through his efforts, he brought about the greatest embracing of the oral law in the history of the Jewish people. Because through the story of Purim, Klal Yisrael said Nasa v'nishma to Tar Shabbat Peh. We know the famous question, that why did Hashem had to coerce us to accept the Torah? Didn't we say Nasa v'nishma? And Tosfos, the Das Ken Bali Tosfos Parshas Noach says, as well as the Das Kenim says, as well as the Medrash Tanchuma and Parshas Noach, that we were only willing to accept the Tar Shabbat the Tar Shabbat Peh. We had to be coerced to accept. And when the Gemara says that Hadar Kiblua B'mei Achashverosh, that means we did not accept the oral law willingly until the times of Purim. And who is responsible that the Jewish people received and accepted the oral law? Ba'ahava, Haman. So as a merit, as a reward for being the catalyst, for creating, for causing such an embracing of the Torah Shabbat Peh, Haman was zoiche that his progeny, meaning you could say, since in the end, even though what he did was bad, but since the result was that it brought about an embracing of the Torah Shabbat Peh, so he was zoiche that his grandchildren are learning Torah and he was zoiche his grandchildren are learning Torah b'Bnei Brak. Well, you could say the same thing about Korach. You know, until Korach came along, it was never verified or authenticated that Moshe Rabbeinu was, cannot be challenged. Everybody accepted him, but it was never demonstrated miraculously that anyone who challenges Moshe Rabbeinu there would be quick revenge. So through the story of Korach, the pillar of Torah min hashamayim was established for all time. It was established for all time, Moshe emes, v'sayrasay emes. So to speak, similar to the time of Haman, where the Torah was embraced. In the times of Korach, the Torah was authenticated, was verified, was established, was stamped as Moshe emes, v'sayrasay emes. So even though what Korach did was bad, there was a very powerful result because of his mutiny. Namely, it upheld the whole Torah. So Korach also perhaps was zoicha that his children did tshuva. But it's really a remarkable commonality. Ata v'hem ve'aharoin. Soifei tevois Haman. Korach ben Yitzhar, Gematria, Haman, Rasha. They both were wealthy, they both had a downfall. Both of them, the month of Tammuz we read about Korach, the month of V'chol Zeh, Einenu Shoiveli, and both of them had some type of tikkun in their descendants. Okay, Rabbi Isai? That is offering number 2.
Recording stopped.
So 1 second, I forgot the punchline. Okay? So, coming back to Parshas Korach, how many psukim are in Parshas Korach? The answer is Psukim. Daniel. Daniel's 95. You know who else is 95? Haman. But you say, so why Daniel, Simon? The answer is very simple. Whenever Haman comes to the scene, Haman is trying to bring about great downfall of the Jewish people. Daniel is always the antidote to Haman, like we find in the Megillah. Hasach. What's Hasach doing in the Megillah? The answer is we've spoken about how because Daniel is Gematria 95, he's the antithesis, he's the nemesis, he's the antidote to Haman. So likewise in Parshas Korach, where Korach is, so to speak, taking a page out of the page of Haman, so therefore the number of psukim in Parshas Korach, Daniel Siman. Because whenever Haman's around, Daniel has to come to the rescue. Okay, that was the upshot.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.